Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. End of part 1. The next day, Emma sat in the small apartment she called home, her mind replaying the events of the night before. She had been so embarrassed, thinking she had ruined everything with Liam. But for some strange reason, she couldn't shake the feeling of his presence. His calm demeanor, his smile, the way he listened to her, it had felt different, real. She let out a sigh as she fiddled with her phone, staring at the message from Jenny that she had ignored the night before. "So how was the date?" it read. Emma hesitated, then typed back, "It was interesting, but I think I messed it up." A few seconds later, her phone buzzed again. "Jenny, what happened? Tell me everything." Emma took a deep breath and typed, "I sat at the wrong table. It was so awkward. I met this amazing guy, and then I realized he wasn't the person I thought he was." She paused, thinking of Liam. But there was something about him. I don't know what it is. It felt like I had known him forever, even though I didn't. Jenny's reply came almost immediately. "That's so romantic. Do you think you'll see him again?" Emma shrugged. "I don't know. I ran off before I could even say goodbye." She set the phone down on the counter, her thoughts drifting back to Liam. Who was he, really? A few hours later, while Emma was preparing lunch, her phone buzzed again. This time, it was an unknown number. She hesitated, then answered. "Hello, Emma," a voice on the other end said. Her heart skipped a beat. "This is Liam Parker. I know this might sound strange, but I think we got off on the wrong foot last night." Emma froze, her stomach doing flips. "Liam? From the restaurant?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. "Yes," he replied with a smile in his voice. "I wanted to apologize for not correcting you sooner. I didn't mean to confuse you." Emma bit her lip, still trying to process the shock. "It's okay," she said, her voice soft. "I didn't expect you to. I mean, it was my fault. I just assumed." There was a pause on the other end. "I don't want to leave things awkward between us. If you're free, would you like to meet up for coffee? No blind date, just two people talking." Emma felt a strange sense of relief. She didn't know why, but she wanted to see him again. "Okay," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'd like that." "Great," Liam said. "I'll text you the details. I'll see you soon." Emma hung up the phone, her mind spinning with 1,000 thoughts. Was this fate? Or just another mistake? That afternoon, Emma found herself walking into a small coffee shop downtown, nervous but excited. She glanced around, searching for Liam. He was sitting at a corner table, his head buried in his phone. As soon as he saw her, he stood up, a warm smile spreading across his face. "Hi, Emma," he said, his voice relaxed, friendly. Emma smiled back, feeling the tension in her shoulders ease. "Hi, Liam." She took a seat across from him, still unsure of what to say. "How have you been?" Liam asked, his eyes softening as he looked at her. "Good," Emma replied. "Busy, work and everything." She hesitated, then added, "And you?" Liam chuckled. "I've been keeping busy too. But honestly, I've been thinking about last night." Emma's heart skipped a beat. "What about last night?" she asked, looking down at her coffee cup. "I don't know," Liam said slowly, his gaze fixed on her. "I felt something, Emma. Something real. Even though it started as a mistake, it felt like we had some kind of connection." Emma's breath caught in her throat. She hadn't expected him to say that. "I thought I was the only one who felt that way," she whispered. Liam smiled, a hint of relief in his eyes. "You weren't," he said softly. As the conversation continued, Emma and Liam found themselves opening up to each other in a way they hadn't expected. They talked about their dreams, their fears, and the struggles they faced every day. Liam told her about his work in the tech industry, his success, and the pressure that came with it. Emma shared her dreams of opening an art studio, of finding a way to express herself beyond the confines of her waitress job. As they spoke, Emma felt a shift inside her. She wasn't just talking to a stranger anymore. She was talking to someone who understood her, who saw her for who she truly was. Not just the girl who messed up a blind date. They both realized that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't a mistake after all. This was the start of something new. Later that evening, as Emma walked back to her apartment, she couldn't stop thinking about Liam. Her heart felt lighter than it had in days. as if a weight had been lifted. Maybe this was the beginning of something more than either of them had expected. She smiled to herself, her thoughts drifting to the possibility of what could come next. The next few days passed in a blur for Emma. She found herself thinking about Liam more often than she cared to admit. Their coffee date had left her with a feeling she couldn't quite shake, a mix of excitement, curiosity, and a hint of nervousness. Was this really happening? Was she really starting to develop feelings for someone she barely knew? She wasn't sure, but every time she thought of him, her heart skipped a beat. On a rainy Wednesday afternoon, Emma was at work, wiping down the counter at the diner when she heard her phone buzz in her pocket. She quickly grabbed it and checked the screen. It was a text from Liam. "Hey Emma, I know it's short notice, but I have an extra ticket to an event tonight. Would you like to join me? It's a charity gala, but it'll be low-key, nothing too fancy. Let me know if you're interested." Emma stared at the screen for a moment, unsure what to think. A gala? Was she really going to a fancy event with Liam? Her heart raced, but she didn't want to seem hesitant. She quickly typed back, "I'd love to. What time should I meet you?" He responded almost immediately, 6 p.m. "I'll pick you up. I'll text you the address." She smiled at the phone, her nerves tingling. This could be the start of something big. She couldn't wait to see Liam again. That evening, Emma stood in front of her mirror, trying on the only nice dress she owned. It wasn't much, just a simple black dress that she had picked up on sale, but it was all she had. She brushed her hair out of her face and glanced at herself one last time. Her heart pounded in her chest. She hadn't been to an event like this in years, and she had never imagined it would be with someone like Liam. She grabbed her purse, taking one last deep breath before walking out the door. When Liam pulled up outside her apartment building, he looked every bit the part of the high-powered businessman he was. His sleek black car glided to a stop, and he stepped out, his tailored suit immaculate. Emma couldn't help but feel a little out of place. She had never been to a gala before, and the thought of being in a room full of millionaires made her feel small. But when Liam saw her standing by the door, waiting, his face lit up with a smile that immediately put her at ease. "You look beautiful," he said softly, his eyes warm as they took in her appearance. Emma blushed and smiled nervously. "Thanks. You look pretty amazing yourself," she replied, trying to hide the slight tremor in her voice. Liam offered her his arm, and they walked to the car together. As they drove to the event, Emma found herself relaxing. The conversation flowed easily between them, and Liam's presence was comforting, like they had known each other far longer than just a few days. She found herself laughing at his jokes, feeling more at ease than she ever thought she would at an event like this. When they arrived at the gala, the lights of the venue shimmered in the night, and the red carpet seemed to stretch forever in front of them. Emma's stomach fluttered nervously, but Liam gave her a reassuring smile. "Don't worry, it's all pretty laid back," he said, sensing her unease. "Just be yourself." Emma nodded, her anxiety easing as they entered the building together. Inside, the event was elegant but not over the top. The guests were well-dressed but not overly formal, and the atmosphere was warm and inviting. As they mingled with the other guests, Emma found herself feeling more comfortable. Liam introduced her to a few people, and although she was still somewhat nervous, she began to enjoy herself. She even found herself talking to a few people who were genuinely interested in her, asking about her dreams of opening an art studio. It felt good to be heard, to be seen for who she truly was, not just as the waitress at the diner. At one point, Liam stepped away to speak with some of his business associates, and Emma found herself standing alone by the bar. She watched as people laughed and chatted around her, feeling the buzz of the event, but her mind kept drifting back to Liam. He had been so kind to her, so genuine, and she realized that she was starting to feel more than just curiosity for him. There was something deeper, something she hadn't expected. Her heart fluttered at the thought. As the evening went on, Emma and Liam continued to enjoy each other's company. She found herself drawn to him, not just because of his wealth or status, but because of the way he made her feel. He saw her, truly saw her, and for the first time in a long time, Emma felt like she was more than just her struggles, more than just the girl working in a diner. She was Emma, an artist with dreams, and Liam was someone who understood her. By the end of the night, when the gala was winding down and guests began to leave, Liam walked Emma to the car. "I'm glad you came tonight," he said softly. "I know it was a little last minute, but I really enjoyed spending time with you." Emma smiled, her heart swelling. Me too, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. As they drove back to her apartment, the world outside seemed to fade away. In that moment, Emma knew that something was changing between them. She wasn't sure what the future held, but for the first time in a long time, she felt like anything was possible. The following week, things between Emma and Liam started to shift. What had begun as a simple meeting over coffee had quickly evolved into something deeper. They found themselves texting throughout the day, checking in on each other, sharing their thoughts and ideas, and making plans to meet up more often. It wasn't long before Emma realized she looked forward to hearing from him, to seeing him, to being around him. She had never expected a simple mistake, a wrong seat at a restaurant, to lead to something like this. And yet, here they were. One evening, after a particularly long day at work, Emma was sitting at her kitchen table, sketching in her notebook when her phone buzzed. It was a message from Liam. "Hey Emma, I know it's late, but I was wondering if you wanted to join me for a private event this weekend. It's for a charity auction. I'd love for you to come with me. No pressure, just a chance to see more of what I do." Emma stared at the message for a moment, feeling a flutter in her chest. Another event? Another night with Liam? She had been to the gala, but this was something different. She wasn't sure if she was ready for it. But then she remembered how much she enjoyed their time together, how easy it was to talk to him, and how he always seemed to make her feel at ease. With a deep breath, she typed back, "I'd love to join you. What time should I meet you?" Liam responded almost immediately. "I'll pick you up at 6. I'll text you the details. Can't wait to see you." Emma smiled as she put down her phone. There was something about him, something genuine and kind that kept pulling her in. She didn't want to admit it to herself, but she was starting to care about him, and that scared her a little. When Saturday night arrived, Emma stood in front of her closet, unsure of what to wear. She had nothing that felt right for a charity event, nothing that seemed fancy enough. She quickly dismissed her first few choices. Nothing felt right. She needed something that made her feel confident, something that would make her feel like she belonged in this world. She picked out a simple dress she had worn to a friend's wedding a few years ago. It wasn't expensive, but it was elegant enough, and most importantly, it made her feel good. She added a pair of heels and a light coat, then took one last look in the mirror. When Liam arrived to pick her up, Emma felt her nerves resurface. This time, it wasn't just about fitting in, it was about how she felt about him. Liam was dressed in a sharp suit, his dark hair neatly styled, and he looked every bit the successful businessman that he was. But when he saw her, his expression softened, and he smiled warmly. "You look amazing," he said, his voice low and sincere. Emma's heart fluttered at the compliment. "Thanks," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "You don't look too bad yourself." They drove to the event in comfortable silence, and for the first time, Emma felt completely at ease with him. She was no longer worrying about her appearance, no longer questioning whether she belonged. She was just with him. When they arrived at the charity auction, Emma couldn't help but be impressed. The venue was beautiful, elegant, and filled with people dressed in their finest. But Liam seemed unfazed by it all, moving through the crowd with ease, greeting people he knew, introducing Emma to several individuals along the way. As the night went on, Emma found herself more and more captivated by Liam, not just by his charm or his wealth, but by his generosity and the way he treated people. He wasn't the cold, distant billionaire she had expected. He was kind, thoughtful, and deeply committed to the causes he supported. At one point, he led Emma over to a small corner of the event where they could talk privately. The soft lighting made everything feel intimate and personal, and Emma felt like they were the only two people in the room. "I'm really glad you came tonight," Liam said, his voice quieter now, more personal. "I know these events can be overwhelming, but you've been so easy to talk to." Emma smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. "I'm glad I came too. I never would have imagined I'd be here, but I'm happy I am." She paused, her thoughts drifting to the future. Was this real? Or was she just caught up in the excitement of the moment? She wasn't sure, but one thing was clear. Being with Liam made her feel seen, in a way she hadn't felt in a long time. The evening ended with Liam bidding on a few items at the auction, his focus unwavering as he worked to support the cause. Emma watched him, amazed by the way he was so in tune with everything around him. He wasn't just participating in the event, he was fully present, fully committed. As the night drew to a close, Liam walked Emma back to his car, his hand gently brushing hers as they strolled through the crowd. "I hope you had a good time tonight," he said softly, his eyes meeting hers. "I did," Emma said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I really did." She couldn't deny it anymore. She was starting to care about him, and that scared her, because she didn't know what that would mean for her life, or for the future they might have together. But for now, she pushed that fear aside. She was here, in this moment, and that was enough. The following week, Emma's life seemed to be unfolding in ways she had never expected. She woke up every day with a smile, checking her phone for messages from Liam. They were becoming closer, spending more time together, whether it was grabbing coffee, talking about art, or simply walking through the city streets, laughing about the little things. Emma still wasn't sure what to make of it, but one thing was clear: she enjoyed every moment with him. She had never imagined that a simple mistake, a wrong table at a restaurant, would lead to something like this. One evening, after work, Emma received a message from Liam. "Hey Emma, I've been thinking. Would you like to come to an art exhibit with me this weekend? It's a show I'm sponsoring, and I'd love for you to see it. It's important to me. Let me know if you're free." Emma hesitated for a moment. An art exhibit? It felt like an important event, one that she had no place being at. But something in Liam's message made her feel like she had to go. He had shared so much about his world, and this felt like another step in learning more about him. She quickly typed back, "I'd love to. When should I meet you?" Liam responded instantly, "I'll pick you up at 6. It's going to be a great night." Emma smiled, feeling a little nervous, but mostly excited. This could be a turning point for them. Saturday evening arrived, and Emma stood before her mirror, picking out an outfit. The dress she had worn for the gala felt a bit too casual for an art exhibit, but it would have to do. She had no other fancy clothes. Still, it wasn't the dress that made her nervous. It was the thought of spending the evening with Liam in a space that felt so different from her usual life. She took a deep breath, adjusting her dress one last time, and grabbed her purse. Just as she was about to leave, she heard a car pull up outside. Liam's car. She grabbed her coat and headed out the door. When she arrived at the event, the venue was nothing like she had ever seen before. It was an elegant gallery, bathed in soft lighting, with beautiful pieces of art on display. Liam stood outside waiting for her, looking effortlessly elegant in a well-tailored suit. His smile, as always, was warm and welcoming. "You look amazing," he said as she approached. Emma smiled, feeling her nerves settle just a bit. "Thanks," she replied, trying to act natural. As they walked inside, Liam introduced her to some of the guests, mostly people from the art world, gallery owners, artists, collectors. Emma tried to keep her nerves in check, though she felt a little out of place in the sea of high-profile individuals. But Liam was there with her every step of the way, making introductions and ensuring she felt included. She started to relax, noticing how easy it was to talk to these people when Liam was by her side. Throughout the evening, Emma couldn't help but be drawn to the way Liam interacted with everyone. He wasn't just a businessman. He had a passion for art, and it showed in the way he spoke about the pieces displayed in the gallery. He wasn't just throwing around buzzwords to impress others. He genuinely appreciated the work, the craftsmanship, and the stories behind each piece. Emma found herself listening intently, her admiration for him growing with every conversation. At one point, as they wandered through the gallery, Liam turned to her with a soft smile. "I'm glad you came tonight," he said. "It means a lot to me that you're here, seeing this part of my life." Emma met his gaze, feeling her heart skip a beat. "I'm glad too," she said, her voice sincere. "I never imagined I'd be here, but I'm really enjoying it." She paused, then added, "I never realized how much I could appreciate art before. It's beautiful." Liam looked at her for a long moment, as though searching her face for something, before nodding. "There's more to you than meets the eye, Emma," he said. Softly, the evening continued, and as the event came to a close, Liam walked Emma back to his car. "I hope you enjoyed it," he said. "I know it's a bit different from our usual hangouts, but I wanted you to see a side of me that not many people do." Emma smiled, feeling her heart swell. "I did," she said quietly. "It's been really eye-opening." As they drove back to her apartment, the city lights flickering outside the window, Emma's thoughts turned inward. She had been so caught up in the excitement of the evening that she hadn't realized how much she had changed in the past few weeks. Spending time with Liam was making her feel more confident, more alive. She wasn't just the waitress at the diner anymore. She was someone with dreams and aspirations, and for the first time, she felt like she had a chance at making those dreams come true. As Liam dropped her off at her apartment, he turned to her, his eyes soft. "I'm really glad I met you, Emma," he said. "I don't say this lightly, but you've changed my perspective on a lot of things." Emma felt a warmth spread through her chest at his words. "I'm glad I met you too," she replied. "Thank you for showing me this world. And for everything." As she stepped out of the car and walked to her door, she couldn't help but think about what Liam had said. She was changing, and it was all because of him. But what did that mean for her future? She wasn't sure, but for the first time in a long time, she was looking forward to whatever came next. Over the next few days, Emma couldn't stop thinking about Liam and the art exhibit. She had felt more alive, more connected than ever before. It was strange. She had always been content with her quiet life, working as a waitress, dreaming of someday opening an art studio. But now, with Liam in the picture, everything seemed possible. He had opened her eyes to a world she hadn't known existed, a world where dreams didn't feel so out of reach. It was a new kind of excitement, one that made her heart race whenever she saw his name pop up on her phone. One evening, Liam sent her a message. "Hey Emma, I was thinking. There's a project I'm working on, and I could really use your help. Would you be interested in collaborating with me on something? It could be a great opportunity." Emma's heart skipped a beat. A project? With Liam? She wasn't sure what he meant, but the idea of working with him on something felt important. She quickly replied, "I'd love to help. What do you have in mind?" Liam's response came almost immediately. "It's a surprise. I'll tell you more when we meet." Emma couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and nervousness. What was he planning? She couldn't wait to find out. That weekend, Liam picked her up in his sleek black car, just like he had so many times before. This time, however, the air between them felt different. There was an unspoken tension, a hint of something more. Emma could sense that Liam was nervous too. As they drove through the city, the streets lit by the warm glow of streetlights, Emma stole glances at him. He was focused on the road, but every now and then, his hand brushed against hers, and each time, it sent a jolt of electricity through her. She wasn't sure if it was the anticipation of the project or something deeper, but the connection between them was undeniable. When they arrived at their destination, Emma was surprised to see a large building that looked like a gallery, but it was closed to the public. Liam led her inside, where she was met with the faint smell of fresh paint and the sight of several unfinished canvases. "Welcome to my studio," he said, his voice full of excitement. "I wanted to show you this place. It's where I come to work on my personal projects, the ones that are just for me." Emma was in awe. The space was filled with vibrant colors, sketches, and paintings in various stages of completion. It was a far cry from the corporate office she had imagined Liam working in. "It's beautiful," she said, her voice filled with awe. Liam smiled, his eyes lighting up. "I'm glad you think so, but there's something I want you to see." He walked over to one of the canvases and pulled back a cloth, revealing a large painting of a woman sitting at an easel, her back to the viewer, surrounded by vibrant hues of color. Emma's breath caught in her throat. The painting was stunning, alive with energy and emotion. This is incredible," she whispered, taking in the details. "It's you," Liam said softly, his voice filled with a tenderness Emma hadn't expected. "I've been painting you. All the times we've spent together, I've been capturing them in my work. You've inspired me in ways I can't explain." Emma stood there, stunned, her heart racing. She hadn't expected this. She hadn't expected him to feel the same way. "I don't know what to say," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "You don't have to say anything," Liam replied, stepping closer to her. "But I wanted you to know that you've changed my life, Emma. You've made me see things differently. And I think we're both ready for something more." The air between them was thick with emotion. For a moment, everything around them faded away. It was just Liam and Emma, standing in the studio surrounded by his art, their hearts beating in sync. Emma looked up at him, her breath catching in her throat. "Liam," she whispered, I don't know what this is, but I feel it too. I've never felt this way before." Liam's hand gently cupped her face, his thumb brushing across her cheek. "I know," he said softly, "but I think it's real. What we have, what we're building together, it's real." And in that moment, Emma realized that for the first time in her life, she wasn't just dreaming. She was living. She was living a life she had never imagined, with a man who saw her, understood her, and wanted to share his world with her. As they stood there, in the glow of the studio, Emma felt a sense of peace wash over her. Whatever came next, she knew one thing for sure. She wasn't going to let this moment slip away. Liam had given her something more than just a chance at love. He had given her the courage to believe in herself, to believe that she could be part of a life filled with passion, creativity, and possibility. And for the first time in a long time, Emma felt like she was exactly where she was meant to be. As the days passed, Emma and Liam grew even closer. They spent more time together, and every moment seemed to deepen the connection between them. Emma had always dreamed of a life filled with art and creativity, but she had never imagined it would come in the form of a love so profound, so unexpected. Liam had become more than just a companion. He had become a muse, someone who inspired her to believe in herself and her dreams. But as their relationship blossomed, doubts began to creep into Emma's mind. She had never been someone to easily let her guard down, and the reality of what was happening between them left her both excited and scared. Was this just a fleeting moment, or was it something real? One afternoon, Liam invited Emma to his office for a meeting. It wasn't unusual. He had asked her a few times before to help with some of his projects. But today felt different. As Emma walked into his sleek, modern office, she noticed a shift in the air. There was a certain tension, a weight to the silence that hadn't been there before. Liam stood by the window, staring out over the city, his usual calm demeanor replaced with something Emma couldn't quite place. She approached him slowly, her voice breaking the stillness. "Liam?" she asked, concern creeping into her tone. He turned to her, his face softening when he saw her. "Hey, Emma," he said, his voice low, almost distant. "Can we talk?" Emma nodded, a knot forming in her stomach. She could tell something was on his mind, something important. They sat down across from each other at his desk, the tension palpable. Liam took a deep breath, looking at her for a long moment before speaking. "Emma, I've been thinking about us," he began, his eyes searching hers for a sign of understanding. "And I need to be honest with you about something." Emma's heart raced. Was he about to tell her he didn't feel the same way anymore? That the magic between them was only temporary? She tried to steady her breath, but the uncertainty was overwhelming. Liam continued, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "The truth is, I care about you more than I can put into words. You've changed my life in ways I didn't expect, and I know I want more than just this moment with you. I want a future." His words hit Emma like a wave, crashing over her with a mixture of relief and confusion. She sat still for a moment, processing what he had said. She could feel the weight of his words settling in her chest, but a part of her was still unsure. "A future?" she repeated softly, her voice tinged with doubt. "Liam, what are you saying?" He reached across the desk, taking her hand in his. "I'm saying that I want us to be together, really together. I don't want to keep things casual or pretend like I'm okay with just being friends. I want to build something with you. Something real." Emma's mind spun as she processed his confession. The idea of a future with Liam was both thrilling and terrifying. She had never allowed herself to dream this big before, and now that it was in front of her, she didn't know how to react. For a moment, there was only silence between them. Emma's thoughts raced as she tried to understand the gravity of the situation. She had never imagined this day would come, but now that it had, she wasn't sure if she was ready. Liam squeezed her hand gently, his voice soft but firm. "I know this is a lot. I know it's fast, but I need you to know that I'm here. I'm all in, Emma. I want to make this work. I just need to know if you feel the same." Emma looked into his eyes, and for the first time, she realized that this wasn't just about her dreams anymore. It was about them, about creating a life together. A life filled with uncertainty, but also filled with possibility. She took a deep breath and, without a second thought, answered him honestly. "I feel the same way," she said, her voice trembling but strong. "I've been scared, Liam. Scared of what this means, scared of how fast it's moving, but I can't deny what's between us. I want this too. I want to be with you." Liam's face lit up with a smile, his eyes shining with a mix of relief and joy. He pulled her into a hug, holding her close as if he never wanted to let go. Emma rested her head against his chest, feeling the steady beat of his heart. In that moment, everything seemed to fall into place. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't easy, but it felt right. Together, they were ready to face whatever came next, hand in hand. As they pulled apart, Liam looked at her with an intensity that made her heart flutter. "This is just the beginning, Emma," he said softly. "I don't know what the future holds, but I'm ready to face it with you." Emma smiled, her fears melting away. She didn't have all the answers, but she knew one thing for sure. She was ready to start this new chapter with Liam. No matter what the future brought, they would face it together. Over the next few weeks, Emma and Liam's relationship continued to blossom in ways neither of them had expected. They had gone from casual dates and art exhibits to deep, meaningful conversations about their dreams, fears, and everything in between. They shared moments of laughter, vulnerability, and joy, and with each passing day, Emma realized just how much Liam had become a part of her life. He was no longer just the successful businessman she had once seen him as. He was her partner, her confidant, and someone she was growing to love more with each passing day. But just when Emma thought she was getting used to this new chapter in her life, a curveball came her way. One afternoon, as they sat together in a cozy café, Liam seemed distant, his usual warmth replaced by an air of distraction. Emma noticed it immediately. "Liam?" she asked gently, placing her hand over his. "Is everything okay?" He looked up at her, his expression unreadable. "Yeah, I'm fine," he replied, but Emma could tell something was bothering him. "You don't seem fine," she said softly, her voice full of concern. Liam sighed, running a hand through his hair. "There's something I need to tell you, Emma. It's not easy for me to say, but I think it's time you know." Emma's heart skipped a beat, a knot forming in her stomach. "What is it?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Liam hesitated for a moment, clearly struggling with the words. "I've been offered an incredible opportunity," he said, his voice heavy with uncertainty. "A chance to expand my business, to take it global. It's a huge deal, one that could change everything for me." Emma's mind raced, but she stayed silent, waiting for him to continue. "The thing is, it would require me to move, to travel a lot, be away from home for months at a time." He paused, looking at Emma with a mixture of guilt and regret. "I'm not sure what this means for us. I don't want to put you in a position where you have to choose between me and your own life. You deserve someone who can be there for you, fully, without distractions." Emma's heart sank as she processed his words. She had always known that Liam's career would come with its challenges, but hearing him talk about the possibility of leaving, even temporarily, was a different matter altogether. For a moment, Emma was speechless. She had never expected this, never imagined that their growing love could be tested by distance so soon. She looked at Liam, his face filled with uncertainty, and something inside her shifted. She loved him. She loved the way he made her feel, the way he pushed her to dream bigger, and the way he had brought light into her life. She wasn't ready to lose him, not now, not when they were just beginning to build something real. She took a deep breath, forcing herself to calm the storm of emotions inside. "Liam," she said softly, her voice steady. "I don't want you to leave, but I also know you can't turn down this opportunity. It's who you are, and I get that. What I want is for us to figure this out together. We don't have to have all the answers right now, but I'm not going to walk away from this." She paused, her hand still resting on his. "I believe in us. I believe in what we're building, and I'm willing to make it work, even if it means being apart sometimes." Liam's eyes softened, a mixture of relief and gratitude flooding his features. "Emma," he whispered, "you're incredible." He leaned forward, placing a gentle kiss on her forehead. "Thank you for saying that. I don't deserve you." Emma smiled, her heart swelling. "You don't have to deserve me, Liam. I'm here because I want to be." In that moment, Emma knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. They were strong enough to overcome anything, as long as they had each other. As they sat there, hand in hand, Emma realized that love wasn't just about being together every moment. It was about trust, commitment, and a willingness to fight for each other, no matter the circumstances. The future was uncertain, but with Liam by her side, Emma felt ready to take on whatever came their way. This was just another chapter in their story, and together, they would make it their own. The weeks that followed were filled with adjustments and new routines. Liam's work took him traveling more frequently, and Emma found herself learning how to navigate life without him by her side every day. At first, it felt like a challenge, but each time they spoke on the phone or FaceTimed, it reminded her of why they were doing this. She could hear the passion in his voice when he talked about his work, and she could feel the love between them growing, even from a distance. It wasn't easy, but they were both committed to making it work, knowing that the foundation they had built together was solid. Every moment apart only made them more certain of what they had and what they wanted. They had never felt so strongly about anything in their lives. One evening, after several weeks of being apart, Emma received a text from Liam. "I'm coming back this weekend," it read. "I have something special planned for us." Emma smiled at the message, excitement bubbling up inside her. She hadn't seen him in what felt like forever, and the thought of being with him again made her heart race. She couldn't wait to be in his arms once more. The weekend finally arrived, and Liam picked her up from her apartment. As she got into the car, she noticed he was dressed in a suit, looking dashing as always. "Where are we going?" she asked, her curiosity piqued. Liam smiled, his eyes sparkling. "It's a surprise. But I promise, it's going to be something you'll never forget." Emma's heart fluttered, knowing that whatever Liam had planned, it was going to be special. They drove for what seemed like hours, with Liam steering them through the city and into the countryside. Emma was puzzled, trying to guess where they were going, but Liam remained tight-lipped, his focus entirely on the road. Finally, they arrived at a beautiful location, a small vineyard surrounded by rolling hills. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the landscape, and Emma gasped in awe. "Liam, this is incredible," she said, taking in the stunning view. "What is this place?" Liam took her hand, leading her toward a small outdoor area where a table for two had been set up, surrounded by twinkling fairy lights. "I wanted to show you something beautiful," he said softly. "Something that reflects what we've built together." Emma's heart swelled with emotion as she looked around. The setting was perfect, and it felt like a dream come true. They sat down at the table, enjoying a candlelit dinner under the stars. The food was delicious, the conversation easy, and for the first time in weeks, Emma felt completely at peace. They talked about everything and nothing, about their future, about their shared dreams, and about how far they had come since that first, awkward meeting at the restaurant. As the evening went on, Emma couldn't help but think about how lucky she was to have Liam in her life. He had shown her more love and support than she ever thought possible, and now, with him sitting across from her, she knew without a doubt that they were meant to be together. After dinner, Liam stood up, taking Emma's hand in his. "There's one more thing I want to do," he said, his voice full of warmth. He led her to a small area of the vineyard, where a large canvas stood, covered by a cloth. "I've been working on something for you," Liam said, his eyes soft and full of affection. "Something to remind you of everything we've been through together." Emma's heart skipped a beat as Liam pulled the cloth away, revealing a painting of the two of them. It was beautiful, a depiction of their first date. Emma sitting at the wrong table, and Liam looking up, surprised by her presence. The painting captured that moment perfectly, the way they had first connected, despite all the confusion. Emma was speechless, overwhelmed by the thought and effort Liam had put into this gift. She turned to him, her eyes shining with emotion. "Liam, it's perfect," she whispered. "I don't know what to say." He smiled, his hand brushing her cheek. "You don't need to say anything. I just wanted you to know that no matter where life takes us, I'll always remember this moment. I'll always remember you." Emma felt a tear slip down her cheek, and without thinking, she threw her arms around him. "I love you," she said, her voice choked with emotion. Liam held her tightly, his heart swelling with love. "I love you too, Emma. And I always will." In that moment, Emma realized that everything they had been through, every challenge they faced, had led them to this place. They had found something rare and beautiful, a love that was stronger than anything else. As they stood there, wrapped in each other's arms, Emma knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it together. They had built something real, something lasting, and it was theirs to hold on to. And with that, the story of their love was just beginning.